Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by. In this video, I'm going to respond to the question of how to fill your inventory gap even when you already have inventory. Wow, have the questions been rolling around in my head since my video on inventory. The biggest one is, how do you fill the inventory gap even when you have inventory? That is an awesome question, and my answer, of course, is super simple. I remember a conversation I had with my #1 seller, Ginger, years ago. She's been on my team since 2001, and when she was on my personal team, she was consistently the top seller. Today, she's a future executive senior sales director with 3 offspring sales directors of her own, and she still is the top selling director on my team of directors. This is all due to her willingness to be a great student and her courage to go do what she learned. As a new consultant, she had started with inventory, and very shortly she sold it all and continued to use the 60-40 split, taking a 40% profit and reinvesting 60% into growing her inventory. If you're in MK with us, then this makes total sense to you because we have a 50% profit margin. But if you're one of my buddies in another direct sales company and your profit is different, then my fast advice on how much you should invest would be 10% over your cost. So if you make a profit of, say, 25%, for example, then instead of taking 25% profit in the beginning, I encourage you to take a 15% profit and reinvest the extra 10% into growing your business. So for our example, because our company makes 50% profit, I encourage you to take 10% over your costs, right? Which makes you putting back 60% into your inventory. Now, if your brain is going into automatic whining mode, then I don't blame you one bit. But once you're done whining, go ahead and put on your superstar vest and get to growing your business. Life, in my opinion, is simple when you choose to ignore the junk. You either win or you lose. That's it. The choice is yours. If you stay in whining mode long enough, you will eventually lose. So stop whining and let's get to growing our direct sales empire. My conversation with Ginger went something like this. Ginger had just started and she invested in some inventory. Shortly after she sold all of it, she had started to get on that conveyor belt of selling and reordering. But she kept having to say to her customers, "Oh, I have 90% of your order. I'll order the one thing I'm missing, and I promise I'll get it right to you." Of course, she was irritated, right? And since I was the one that brought her into the business, she directed her irritation at me. Ginger was excited that she was selling so much, but she was also irritated that she was still missing product. I call this the business growth inventory gap. It is really exciting when you find yourself in it, guys. This means that you're selling and your home store just isn't caught up to the demand yet. Back in the day, I had to share with Ginger that she needed to raise her orders in proportion to her sales growth. Here's what it looks like. In my last video, I shared with you that you needed to calculate how much you plan to work so that you can order to have enough to fill that workload. If you haven't watched that video yet, go ahead and do so. It's going to be very helpful to you and it'll make this video more useful as well. Let's say if you wanted to hold 3 appointments a week and you already have enough product to service 3 appointments a week, then that's awesome. Here's step 2. You now need to keep on hand 1 of each item you already sold to your new customer. Now, this is not a customer service video and this is not a customer retention video. So I'm not going to go into how to encourage your customers to stay loyal. I'll talk about that in another video. But if you're selling a product that's consumable, then you need to make sure that you have the item you sold to your customer on hand and ready to resell to them. For example, when you sold, let's say, a hand cream, then you need to reorder a hand cream to replace the one you sold, plus 1 more. That's 2 new hand creams you need to reorder. Excuse me? What? Why? Well, you need 1 to sell to your new customers and 1 to resell to the one you just sold to. Now, I know you're thinking, whatever, lady, I'm not doing that because this person is not going to reorder this for months. Well, yeah, maybe. But what if they used it, loved it, and wanted another to give away? What if they used it, loved it, raved about it, and someone they knew wanted to buy it? But you only reordered one, and you just sold that one to the appointment you just had. And your order of the one hand cream that you so diligently just made an order for has not arrived yet, and you're still missing it. Get my drift? If you do the math, that's why I love my company, because our profit margin is 50%. So even if I have an operating cost of gas, internet, supplies, etc. that total to about 10%, and I chose to reinvest another 10% into more products as I go, that's still just a total of 20% out of my profit, leaving me still 30% profit. Sweet, right? Now, if your profit is not 50%, well, you've got to tighten your other expenses then. The expense of the cost of your product should never be the thing that you slack on. You know, guys, that cute bag that you brought to put your product in is of no use to you if you don't have product to put in it. That awesome sample that you have plays no benefit if you don't have the product to sell when your customer tried the same sample and now wants a real size version of it. Get it? If your company has a drop shipment service available, then you need to give a big old bear hug to the next corporate staff member you see at your next company function for this awesome support tool. You can fill the inventory gap problem with this customer delivery service when you are in a pinch, but be careful not to use it as a crutch for new customers. It's important that you, in the beginning, build a relationship with your customer before you start shipping them products all the time. If they see your name and have no feelings of warm fuzzies associated to it, then you're in trouble, because it wouldn't really matter to them who ships them their product, right? So I hope this has helped you, my favorite people in the whole wide world. I love you guys to death. The friends I have met and the friends that I'm going to meet in direct sales, you guys are some of the bravest people on earth as far as I'm concerned. I love business owners because it takes a lot of courage to put your dreams out there. It takes courage to say, I'm going for this and hope I succeed. It takes courage to talk to strangers about business, and it takes even more courage to talk to people you already know. I hope it makes you feel better to know that at least one person, me, understands what you're going through. So I need you to listen now. If you want to do this, which obviously you do or you wouldn't be watching this video, so if you want to do this, let's do this. Inventory is a big deal. It teaches you money management, time management, customer service, and faith. Don't discount it, because you could be cheating yourself out of a lot of good lessons. I'm going to stop here and share with you where my faith and clear thinking comes from. It comes from God. If you find yourself lacking faith in anything, or a sound heart, or a clear mind, then stop everything you're doing. Stop right now and pray. Father, in the name of your precious Son, Jesus, I do not understand. I am lost in this moment and I need your help. Send your Holy Spirit, my helper, into my heart to guide my way. Give me wisdom and peace to hear and see what you have planned for my life. Please make your answers so clear that I cannot miss it, and convict me to my knees so that I can open my eyes to see what you want me to see. I want you to watch my videos and be able to see clearly exactly what I'm saying to you every time. You can do this. Here are some comforting words to restore your soul. Proverbs 16 verse 3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Psalms 20 verse 4. May He give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. Psalms 90 verse 12. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Proverbs 19 verse 21. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. And here's one of the most quoted in the Bible, Jeremiah 29 verse 11. If you know it, say it with me and say it out loud. It will be a blessing for you. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. What is all this stuff that I'm saying to you? Does it make sense? Or is it all gibberish? If it makes sense, then go do what you need to do. Go fix your business and your household and be a glorious example of what Jesus taught. Once you are clear of this and you're able to provide for your family, then you need to start working and building wealth for your spiritual life. You don't want to go to heaven and have nothing to show for it. But if instead, if everything I'm saying is Greek to you and all this is gibberish, then ask yourself if you would like to have more peace in your life, more love, more blessings. If the answer is yes, then I encourage you to find out who Jesus is and why God sent him to save us. Pray for faith. You can do it.